Focus on two things, Microsoft and the open source community. Why I'm going to talk about this, it's not a real technical topic, it's more high-level stuff, but it's one of the questions that I have a lot of times because I'm a guy from Microsoft and I'm going to even from Mozilla and I'm going to open source stuff and I'm doing a Make One Not War about PHP and Java. It sounds a little bit weird that a Microsoft guy is doing this. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my story, the story around the tech industry now, where we are with all these kind of mindset around Microsoft technology and open source technology. What gives me not the power, but the opportunity to talk about this is that at the beginning, and still now, I'm doing HTML5 things. I was doing Java development. I did PHP. I use WordPress. I'm still using WordPress. I was a Linux user, so I use Gentoo. I use Ubuntu. Name it. I use like Slackware, SUSE, Red Hat before it comes for a big corporation. I'm doing JavaScript. I develop for iOS. So I use a lot of technologies, and a lot of these technologies are not Microsoft technology. So I think that I have the right to make this kind of talk tonight. I want to talk to you about perceptions. All the time I heard Microsoft versus open source. It's a kind of fight, it's a battle. So I want to introduce you Ruth. Ruth is part of the team. She is an evangelist in the IT Pro side. Yeah, the IT Pro side. Yeah. So thanks for laughing at me. So when we talk about Microsoft, most of the time I heard, yeah, Microsoft, evil empire. You're going to take the world and you're bad people. And, oh, Fred, you took a job at Microsoft. It's only about money. Nah, no, it's not about money. It's really about, I want to change things. I want to be part of this mind change at Microsoft. And most of the time, what is the change? Yeah. Is there anybody in the room that's still doing this? I'm going to kick some ass. It's okay. Microsoft is a company that builds software and that is there to make money. It's the basic of Microsoft. We're there to make money by selling software. But don't use this. It's so 1979. I don't know. Yeah. And when we talk about open source, I love Star Wars, by the way. So when we talk about open source, we talk about the revolution, the good people that will not solve, but that will rescue the world for Microsoft evil empire. And it's something that, it's a big perception, and something that I heard a lot. That's what no, I love this. And what he said it was true. It is true? No, I prefer it was true. I don't talk about open source. I'm talking, it's still good. Don't get me wrong. I have nothing to say I have nothing to say wrong about open source. I'm just telling that maybe now we have to change our mind about Microsoft. Maybe Microsoft is not the evil empire that everybody thinks now. It was at some point, but I think now, and to be honest with you, it's not a marketing thing, but it's why I'm at Microsoft now. I showed you the first slide. I was doing Java, PHP. I was a Linux user. They had giving me this job like 3 years ago. I would have said no. No, I don't want to work at Microsoft. It's too evil. I was the kind of, yeah, I'm going to have Darth Vader that's going to come to my office to give me my paycheck. I don't want to work at Microsoft. And I went to, it's a true story, I went to the Make One Not War in Montreal, and I see this Microsoft event with no Microsoft logo on the wall, no Microsoft logo elsewhere. I went to heard about the talk around PHP, a talk around HTML5, and it was a Microsoft conference. So at this point I said, okay, the world is not perfect, but can I be part of this change? So I really saw a change in Microsoft personally, but it's my opinion. I don't want to force you to trust me on this, but it's my own story. But after this, I have a crazy idea. What about if Microsoft versus open source can be Microsoft or open source, or better, Microsoft and open source. What do you think? Is it something that could be possible or that is possible now? Yes? Awesome. I own you $20. Only 50? Awesome. So to talk about the industry now, let me talk a little bit about the history. So in 1998, we had some weird, crazy people like Eric who create with other people, officialize the open source. The term open source was more used at this time because at the beginning it was only free software. And it's like more than 10 years ago. We also had strange and interesting people in our team. So Microsoft was there and was building software. We had an interesting operating system that came in 98. So we had Windows 98. That was really at the beginning of Microsoft. And we did some error. We said some stuff that maybe we think this when we said it. Now it's not true anymore. We don't think this anymore. There is a mind change at Microsoft. So these things that Steve Ballmer said, maybe he was thinking this at the time. But like I said to you, Microsoft just go to change mind, and it's really not true anymore. Or things like when you are programming for open source, you're doing things for communists. So it's personally, I think it's things on the past. It's not really true anymore. When we talk about today, things are changed. If you talk about open source has grown. People like Linus Torvald become stars. We had a lot of projects. When you go to SourceForge, you have so many open source projects now. It's totally crazy. Open source has grown. It's a really interesting way of thinking about software, and it's getting better and better each time and each time. Microsoft has grown too. Yeah, we have Halo. I don't know. I am an Xbox fan. And we have some open source projects too. When we go to Coldplex, we don't have as much as SourceForge, but we are trying to help the community and give the code source back to the people too. And I think personally, it's about choice. It's not about forcing you to use something. It's not about I will go only open source or I will go only proprietary software. I will go with the software or the programming languages or the tool that will help me to do what I want to do. If it's open source, it will be open source. If it's proprietary, it's going to be, I hate this word, it's going to be proprietary. If it's a free software, I'm going to use the free software. If it's a software that I have to pay, I'm going to pay for the software because it will fill my need. I will be able to do the things that I need to do for my clients, for myself, for my home project, for my communities. When we talk about Microsoft and open source, now, we talk about contribution. We talk about collaboration. We talk about communities. And let me give you some example. And I tell you, don't trust me. I want you to go after the event next week, the next month, when you will have some time, because you know everybody has a lot of time. So go on the web, search on the web, go on Twitter, talk to the evangelists, talk to other people in the community, and just go see the tools, see what we are doing, if it's true or if I'm just saying bullshit in front of you. When you talk about contribution, it's one of the things we work to help PHP work on Windows. I don't know for you, is there any PHP developer in the room? Okay, not that much. I tried PHP on Windows like 3 years ago. It's where I lose all my hair. It's not funny, it's a real problem. I don't know, okay. It was something very difficult. It wasn't easy. Now, we help PHP programmer to develop on Windows. One click, install it, it's working very well. And it's not only on Windows. You can talk about the cloud computing on Windows Azure. And it's a lot of things where we try to contribute to some communities, try to contribute to some project to help these projects work on her technology or to just help these projects grow. One of the things, Apache Foundation, we contribute to more than 60 top-level projects in use in development in the Apache Foundation. So it's not something that you would see like 5 years, 6 years, 7 years ago. It's something that we are doing for the past 2, 3, 4 years. It's really a mind change to talking about this, to do this, for me to be able to do this kind of presentation here. When we talk about collaboration, we collaborate with Eclipse Foundation to support some open source project. We're trying to give tools to people that use Eclipse, like if you want to use TFS, you can add a TFS plugin to Eclipse to connect to your Team Foundation server. We have a plugin if you want to deploy to Windows Azure. So it's a lot of things that we are trying to contribute with all these communities to help the developer has more choice and have a better way and easier way to be able to do the things that you need to do. Linux. We talk about Linux as a cancer. We give some line of code to Linux to add to the kernel to help them support some of the things. So it's something that we didn't do like a couple of years ago. It's something that now we are ready to go. And this one is like, it's an old one. It's 2009. So it's not something new. It's something that we're starting to talk more about. But it's something that we are trying to do for a couple of years. We are trying to be more with the communities, more with these projects. When we talk about community, I don't know if you heard about Kung Fu. I put this there. Maybe it's not a good example because it's in Montreal, but it's growing. It's very a big conference about web technology in Montreal, and it's growing. It's growing. It's a community. It's a conference about PHP, Java, Python, a lot of technology that are not Microsoft technology, and we are there to support them. We help them by being there. We help them by sponsoring the event. So it's really something that we want to do, and sometimes we are trying to create an event with the community like we did tonight. Sometimes it's just to participate in other communities. And we're not just there to giving money. Most of the people ask, oh, you're Microsoft, you have a lot of money, can you sponsor my event? If I can go, if I can help you in another way, I can do both. It's not just that, yeah, I will give you money and you will have the Microsoft logo. No, we want to be part of this. We want to help you in a lot of ways that we can do. One of the other things, this beautiful blog, Make One Not War. So it's one of the blogs that we did to promote some technology from the communities, promote some events from the communities in Canada, and it's everything except just Microsoft technology. So it's something around interoperability, something around any other technology that are not Microsoft technology, and we are doing this for the developers in Canada. By the way, the presentation that we had tonight has been recorded, so at some point, when I'll try to find some time, I will put this video online on this blog. So if you want to view another time a presentation that was so awesome, like my presentation, or any other presentation, you will have the choice to do so on this blog. And just subscribe to the RSS feed or by email. It's really a good blog for any technology. And I love this picture. I told you at the beginning, one of the mind shift that happened at Microsoft is the fact that there are guys like me that were Jinx, that talk about open source, that was doing PHP, that was using Linux. There is really a mind change at Microsoft, and I'm one of the proof of this mind change. So, is it about Microsoft versus open source? Or Microsoft and open source? So think about it. Like I said, I don't want you to believe everything I said. Go yourself on the web, check what we do, check what we will do, and just think about it. So I don't want to take much of your time. If you want to reach me, email, Twitter, Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, name it, I'm there. You can go webnotwar.ca, don't forget this link. If you want to read something that is more boring, you can go to my personal blog, ucz.net. Actually, it's out of comfortzone.net, but it was too long, so I'll buy this one too. And that's it. Any question, comment, insult?